Just about 20 minutes ago, I caught sight of 3 otters running along the side of the South Fork of the Eel, just at Garden Club of America. And they had to get out of the water, run along the side in like a gully for a ways because the water's so low. And here's where they had to come up a bank, and I'm pretty sure it's them, because you can see after they scrambled up, there's some wet sand and sort of slide marks down this trail. I can get up a little higher. You can see where they're probably sliding down the trail, kind of walking, sliding, then connecting with this other part of the gully and continuing on. And eventually they made it into, you can see across there, the rest of the South Fork of the Eel River. That is totally cool. Hello everybody, my name's Mary and I am a nature guide with California State Parks. Some people might call me an interpreter here at North Coast Redwoods, Humboldt Redwoods State Park. And welcome to my new favorite spot in the park. I'll tell you why in just a second. All right, I'm just making sure everyone's here. I hope everyone got a chance to see the post I made this morning on the video of the otters. So give me a thumbs up if you saw that post. Let's see, wait. Hi, Braid. Okay, I just want to make sure I could see. Hey, bud. All right, so let me tell you why this is my new favorite spot and became even more favorite spot when I got here today. So just a little background. Last week when I was here preparing for my underwater look at what goes on under the Eel River, lo and behold, what came up right next to me, let me show you where, right over here, just a few feet from me, was actually 3 otters came up on the bank. And as you can imagine, I was pretty startled and pretty excited, and I managed to chase them down. If you could see, they actually have to come out of the river here. Let me turn this around. Actually, probably be easier if I could figure out. There we go. There we go. Okay, so if you could see all that rock, that a few months ago used to be covered with water. And if you know the Eel River, you know it changes very rapidly from being really full, and once it stops raining, it just every day it goes down, down, down. So this is what it looks like right now. So basically, at this point, they had to hop out of the river and run down. You could see this little gully along the side there until they could make a connection with the other side where the water kind of continues on. So, and I got some really great, if you saw that video, I got some really great video. And then afterwards, I managed to find some of their tracks. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So that's a little background. And so first, a little bit about the otter. There are 13 species of otter in the world, 11 of which are freshwater. And so I'm going to be talking about the North American river otter today. And those are the ones that were in the video. And so the otters are, well, if you watch that video, I think it pretty much pointed out 2 things that I think of when I see otters. And maybe you think of the same things. First is basically that fluid motion. Did everyone notice that? It was just incredible, wasn't it? That fluidity of motion, just poetry, really. And then the second was just that playfulness. So if you noticed on the little video, where I showed them sledding, the place where they slid down that hill, I was literally chasing them. I mean, not so close to that I didn't want to frighten them, but they were running from me. But they took time out from running from me to, instead of taking a straight course, to actually run up that hill. They saw a hill they probably slid down it before, and took the time out just to slide down the hill and then continue on running away from me. So that just epitomizes what otters are all about. Fun, play. It's just really fantastic to see that. And aside from all that play and fun, otters are a really important biodetector. They are the top of their food chain in the whatever habitat they're at, whatever water habitat, like here the river, the Eel River. So they're a really great bio-indicator of how healthy that particular water system is, be it a river or a lake. So like I say, that exuberance, that playfulness, they have a very high metabolism, which means they eat a lot. So they need to eat a lot, and they're very sensitive to pollution. And so what pollution in the water does is, well, let me go back. They're facing two threats to their survival. One is the destruction of their wetland habitat, and then the other is pollution. So where you see pollution, then pretty soon otters will disappear. So what happens is, I'm talking pollution from heavy metals like mercury and PCBs that collect in the environment. And so if you can imagine, remember I talked about mayflies a few weeks ago. So the mayflies eat the vegetation, which have the heavy metals in them, and then what, those voracious dragonfly nymphs eat the mayflies, and then the fish eat tons of mayflies and dragonfly nymphs, and then of course the otters will eat the fish. So it's all bioaccumulating in these tissues, with the otters being at the top. So number one, it could create reproductive problems, and number two, just health problems. And then the other thing is, if it's killing off their food supply, like the fish directly, no food supply, no otters. So it's important for us to monitor our waterways, and one way is by seeing if the otters are happy. And let me show you something. Oop, I think I have to do this the other way so that it's not reversed. Let me make sure. All right, let's see. So there's something called the Citizen Science River Otter Project. I will post the information later, unless Kim Cabrera is already posting it right now. She's so good at that. So the Citizen Scientist River Otter Project, and oops, let's go back. So what they do, if you see any otter or otter signs, then it's important that you report to them, and then they can monitor the situation. So we can all do that, and what we're going to do today, right now, is show you some signs that they leave behind. And it's pretty exciting, because when I got here today, there were actually some otter signs. So perfect, we'll go through them. And to help me out is one of the otters from last week's video. I think I'll call him Otto. But anyway, let's start first with otter tracks. So let me get this out. So let me see. Now, if you can see this, otters, like, they're members of the weasel family, the Mustelidae. So they have 5 toes in the front, 5 in the hind, and if you see right there, they look extremely, let me see that, pointy. That's actually their claw marks, which are so close to the pads of their toes that it actually makes their toes look pointy. That's actually, I thought they had pointy pads until I realized that was their claw marks. And of course they do have webbing, which helps them to swim, but it doesn't always show up. Now, let me show you this. I don't know if this is coming out too well. Let me show you that for a second. So they are bounders. They are bounders, so if you see more than one tract, you will normally see them in groups of 4. Let me show you why. In groups of 4, because they're bounders. So what they do, and these guys from last week, let's point it out. So you can see, if you look at the mama otter, if you see her front feet, so she's taking a step, and then if you notice her back feet, both back feet are ready to bound forward as she scrunches up her back in that hump shape, that classic hump shape. And then she'll reach forward with her 2 front feet one at a time. So you'll get those groups of 4. Those 2 hind feet will bound kind of in between the 2 front feet. So you get that group of 4 pattern, which is pretty cool. So they're bounders. Now another sign you might see, this is from last week, because they're so playful, and you'll see this maybe near their den. I don't know if this is coming out, but you see that slide pattern. So that's what I saw, and you could see that in the middle is their tail that comes behind them. Now if they were someplace where there was snow, as I don't know, has everyone seen, I know as a kid in elementary school they would show always a film of Yellowstone, and of course in the wintertime the only thing I remember of the film is the otters playing all day for hours in the snow and sliding down it. So they'll hold their front legs to the side, to the back, and they actually have no clavicle, which makes it easier for them to do. Now the third sign, which gives you a lot of information, is the thing that really excited me today when I got here. And I'm going to be moving the camera right now. So let's see if I could do it without dropping everything. When I got here today, let's see, this is what I found. That was so exciting. Let's see. Can everyone see that? And this is super fresh. So this is otter scat or spraint. It's called spraint, and it even smells fishy. I mean, who knew that I could get like giddy with excitement at seeing new otter poop. Now you could even see right here, let's see if I get it, the fish bones. Do you see those right there? Some fish bones, some scales, and I don't know if anyone knows what that is. I don't think it's an eyeball or anything. I'm really not sure if anyone has an idea of what that is. Now last week, the day after I saw the otters here, I came the next day, and this is what I saw last week. And that particular scat was full, absolutely full of crab pieces, actually crayfish. Let me show you what it looked like when it was fresh. So you could definitely see the pieces of the crayfish, the shell of the crayfish. It was pretty cool. And one thing that you will see, I didn't see it today, a little bit about otter scat. Now otters are generally pretty solitary animals, except those mom-pup groups, and the pups stay with the mom for maybe 6 to 12 months before they take off on their own. So they will be together, but the males and otters in general are pretty solitary. They're not super territorial, it's just sort of like a mutual avoidance. So, you know, how do they know who's about and how to get together, they actually have what they call a latrine, a communal latrine. So it's a form of communication, and I'm really excited that maybe what we have here developing is a new otter latrine. So I'm going to be coming here every day, checking it out, seeing if there's some new form of communication here. If anyone has a message for me, I'll check it out. Now, if you're wondering, like I did, well, how do all those sharp fish bones and sharp pieces of crayfish get through their guts without ripping them apart? Well, sometimes you'll actually see what they call anal jelly, and they think that's a really mucoid or mucus lining on the inside of their intestinal system that actually protects the passage. Imagine passing those super sharp objects through your intestines. So sometimes that's deposited and you'll see that, and the idea is that that's probably a protection. Now, alright, sorry about that. Now the last thing I wanted to say before I take off, like I say, these are all signs that an animal was here. It's pretty darn exciting. So make sure if you see any of these signs that you report it to that River Otter Project so that they could collect the data and get good data about our rivers. And it looks like the otters are making a comeback here, so that would be really great. So as long as we continue to keep our waters clean, which is something we actively have to work on, then hopefully they'll keep coming back. Just seeing these otters last week and seeing their signs this week, it's been just so exciting. And then everything I saw underwater last week, I don't know if you went on my journey under the Eel River and saw all that life that I had no idea was there. Just makes me feel so grateful to be somewhere where there's so much diversity, biodiversity here in California, and especially this area. So I want to mention something that's coming up really soon, and that's California Biodiversity Week, September 5th through 12th or 13th. And that's where you, that combined with the app iNaturalist is where you can go out and, as citizen scientists, and record what you see around you, plants, animals, every form of life that you see, and upload it onto that app. That's a free app, and we'll be posting tutorials on that if you're not sure how to get that. And in fact, Humboldt Redwood State Park and Prairie Creek State Park are having a kind of competition. So if you're around and you're here the 5th through the 12th, we'd love it if you would come by Humboldt Redwood State Park, but it's okay if you go to Prairie Creek. It's beautiful too. And record everything that you see, because we're going to see who gets the most. And of course I want Humboldt Redwoods to win, but it's okay. And if any of you are watching from, obviously not local, far away, I saw someone from Texas, and last week someone was watching from the United Kingdom, which is totally cool. I'm sure using iNaturalist, and you can check out to see if there are any biodiversity blitzes happening near you, or just a lot of Google citizen science projects. And there could be one where some scientists need your help right near you, and then you also get to go out and learn something really interesting, as well as helping out the scientists and the environment. So until next week, I hope you all join me, and Otto says bye-bye, and everyone have a great day, and hope to see you next week.